Welcome, boys and girls, once again to the eastern wing of the Stink Bug Works. You know, that super secret place where we invent things and make stuff. Anyway, I thought I'd give you an update on the rescue boat. While the wood parts for the outrigger are drying, I thought I'd pull this out and just give you a brief update and some future thinking. And so I took the foam flotation out of here for several reasons. One, it weighed a ton. And two, I need access in here for something because my plans have once again changed. My plan was to use this as a tug to tow a leaf rake that would rescue a stranded boat. You know, you would come alongside, turn, and pull the boat in. Well, I've tried to come up with a decent leaf rake, and I can't come up with something that's cheap. Everything's expensive and complicated. I just haven't found a good plan for a cheap leaf rake. So I went on to Hydro and Marine's website, and they have a cool little pusher device that will actually, in the way it's designed, will actually flip your inverted rescue boat over. It'll push it and it'll flip it over. Go check out his website. In fact, I'm going to put a link to his website here because we're going to talk more about Hydro and Marine in another episode. Anyway, now I know Big B has the wet pedal from Dead Ahead RC. This is the Timmy from Dead Ahead RC. And a fellow by the name of Josh K. And I don't know how to pronounce his name. It might be pronounced Quick because it's Kwik. I'll have to look at it again. I can't remember. Or Kulk. I don't know how he spelled it. Anyway, I'm just going to call him Josh K. And Josh K was kind enough. Now, this was laid up with fiberglass mat and polyester resin. And when you put a gel coat on and then over polyester resin, a lot of times it'll do this. It'll warp. It's just the nature of the beast. And this hatch warped. So Josh has changed his tooling and his methodology, and look at this. Now, this was Josh's first layup using carbon, and carbon's really hard to work with because the cloth is so stiff. That said, this is pretty darn good for an early pull. Yeah, there's some bubbles in here, but you know what? I don't care. This is straight, light, and strong. It's perfect for my application. Now, I know Big B was first into the 100-mile-an-hour club, but he was not the first when thinking of making his boat a police boat. I ordered this long before Big B decided to do his wet pedal as a police boat. Now remember, I said I'm going to use this for chasing the birds out of the way. And so we'll have flashing lights, and one of the things I'm going to do here on the bow, and one of the reasons I needed to get access, is I'm going to have two screws sticking up, and I'll be able to take a fiberglass plate, G10 plate, and put something on it. So in one application, I'm going to put this servo-actuated siren on the boat. So the birds are going to get flashing lights and sirens. They're going to get the hell out of there now. So Big B, welcome to the 100-mile-an-hour club, but you're not first in the police club. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to give a shout out to Josh for kindly sending me this new upgraded canopy. This is going to be perfect for this boat. You know, this thing's going to be heavy, these batteries are hefty and this motor's hefty. So overall, the boat's going to be pretty hefty, but that's okay. I don't mind it displacing because, again, it's chasing birds and pushing boats to shore. So if it's hefty, that's fine by me. Okay, boys and girls, I thought I'd fill you in on the latest. Until next time, jet out. Welcome back to the Stink Bug Works, boys and girls, where we have breaking news. And you know, here at the Stink Bug Works, when news breaks, we fix it. Anyway, a package from Germany arrived yesterday. And in that package were a couple of things, and this is one of them. This, boys and girls, is the H&M Mozilla 400. Now, this is an older design, granted, but it was designed to run on a Speed 400 brushed motor. That's a 75-watt motor. And this thing, as I recall, I think it's 15 inches long. It's, just shy of 15. It's 14 and a half. So it's a tiny little boat. And it's made out of carbon Kevlar, and it has a float chamber in it. Now, my original plan when I ordered this hull was to put this motor in it. And I got to thinking, after running the Mini Dominator, which has this same size motor in it and is considerably bigger, that this motor is more than adequate power for a larger boat. So I got to thinking this may be too much, and I decided to put that in the rigger. My second thought was to use the Aviox 1005, which is basically the forerunner of that motor. And again, I'm thinking that may overpower this little hull to where it's not fun to drive. The Mini Dom is right on the edge of fun to drive. Any more power, and it might just be work driving that thing. So we'll get to that. So I even considered running an Outrunner in here, and I may go with that, or I may go with a 24 millimeter motor, in which case I'd have to get a different coupler, but couplers are easy to come by. This little stuffing tube is the same stuffing tube that I had in the Redbird, and it comes from H&M again. And it's a nice little design. It uses a 2 millimeter shaft, and in fact is basically what gave me the idea for the jet stepper drive shaft, because this one has a brass bushing here, and I don't think there's any bushing here, so it just rides on the bushing here and on the motor shaft there. But it's perfectly fine for low power applications. So I originally thought of running this motor and hanging one of these little micro rudders off the side of it, and I could use this one, and I believe I used this one on the Redbird. So we'd have to see. I don't think I'm going to have the prop that far back. But I got to thinking, and I'm going to apply the Mini Dom, because in a way this is similar to it, that left turn without a turn fin and the thing just departs. And Big B was having issues with when you turn left, if you have a offset rudder, it comes way out of the water. And on his little wet pedal, he was having problems with that. And I said, I have one of these inline rudders in my inventory, and something like that might work well on the wet pedal to keep the rudder in line. But I got to thinking even more that, I could hang this off the back of this boat. I'd still exit the hull for the drive slightly above the center line here, but I could have some angle adjustment on the shaft, and it might be kind of a clean looking setup. So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you boaters out there, what direction do you think I should go with this? Should I put an inline rudder? Should I have an offset rudder with a straight shaft? Should I overpower the hell out of it and try my best to keep it on the water? Or shall I go to more like a 100-watt motor, maybe even a 150-watt motor, and try to keep it below 150 watts? Any advice you have? Put them down in the comment sections below. I'm going to show you the build sequence on this when we get to it. And I promised Oliver Hair Size from H&M that I would share this build with him and everybody else. So there you are. There's the basic project. It's light. It's stiff. It's everything a screaming little rocket should be. So we're going to try to make this a screaming little rocket. And personally, I'm leaning towards having the rudder in line with the prop. You don't see it very often because you don't see this kind of hardware very often. So that's my thoughts for that, boys and girls. And what's going to happen here with the wet pedal is, if I put this in here, I very well may put this motor and this shaft in the wet pedal. That may be a better overall plan. And I'll run a little straight shaft in this, and I can hang, a rudder way out there and run a fairly deep rudder, and we could call it good. Or I could suck it up a little bit. I think I'll wind up using this rudder over here, the small little 52 millimeter rudder. So there you go, boys and girls. There's the breaking news. 2 new projects in my never-ending building queue. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.